The salvage station was quiet. It was always quiet. Sung liked it that way. He sat alone in the control room, eating cold rice from a metal container. Outside the window, a brown dwarf star gave off weak orange light. It was dying slowly, just like everything else out here at the edge of known space. No colonies, no trading routes, just empty darkness and forgotten things. Sung had lived here for 3 years. He was 34 years old, Korean by birth, but he had not seen Earth in a very long time. He did not want to see it. Earth had memories. Memories hurt. His job was simple. Ships died out here. Old freighters, damaged military vessels, sometimes escape pods with no one alive inside. Sung found them, took them apart, and sold the pieces. It was lonely work. That was the point. The computer made a soft sound. Sung looked up from his food. Unknown signal detected, the computer said. Distance, 47 kilometers, no beacon, no registry. Sung frowned. Every ship had a beacon. Every ship had a registry number. It was galactic law. A ship without these things was either very old or very illegal. He put down his food and walked to the scanner console. The readings were strange. There was power coming from the ship, but only a little, like a heartbeat that was almost gone. "Show me," he said. The screen displayed an image. Sung felt his breath stop. The ship was beautiful. It was not like any human design. It was not like any alien design he knew either. The hull was dark purple, almost black, and it curved in ways that seemed impossible. There were no sharp edges, no visible engines, no weapon ports. It looked like something that had grown rather than been built. Sung had seen thousands of wrecks in his career. He had never seen anything like this. Computer, search all databases. Find a match for this design. Searching, the computer said. Then, after a long moment, no match found. Sung should have reported this. Protocol said he should contact the Galactic Authority and wait for instructions. Unknown alien technology was dangerous. Everyone knew the stories about ancient ships that carried diseases or weapons or things that drove people mad. But Sung was tired of following rules. Rules had not saved his sister. Rules had not made his life better, and he was curious. For the first time in 3 years, he was truly curious about something. He took his small repair shuttle and flew toward the wreck. Up close, the ship was even stranger. The hull seemed to move slightly, like it was breathing. Sung told himself it was just the light playing tricks. He found what looked like an entrance and used his cutting torch to open it. The inside was dark. His flashlight showed walls that were smooth and organic. They were the same purple-black color as the outside. There were no signs, no labels, no controls that he could recognize. The air was cold and tasted like metal. Sung walked slowly through the corridors. His footsteps made no echo. The walls seemed to absorb all sound. He found bodies. They were not human. They were tall and thin, with skin like gray stone and faces that had too many eyes. They wore no clothes. They had been dead for a very long time. Their bodies were dried out, almost like mummies. Whatever killed them had happened many years ago. Sung felt sad looking at them. He did not know who they were or what had happened to them. But they had died alone in the dark, far from home. He understood that feeling. He continued deeper into the ship. At the center, he found a large room. It was different from the rest of the ship. The walls here glowed with faint blue light. In the middle of the room stood a crystal. It was as tall as a man and it pulsed slowly, like a heart, like the ship was alive and this was its core. Sung approached carefully. He could feel something, a presence, like someone was watching him but not with eyes. He reached out and touched the crystal. Nothing happened. It was cold and smooth, just a rock. Sung laughed at himself. He was being foolish. This was just an old wreck with strange technology. There was no magic here, no spirits, just broken machines waiting to be fixed. And fixing things was what Sung did best. He went back to his station and gathered his tools. For the next several days, he worked on the ship. He found the power systems and repaired them. He cleared blocked pathways. He replaced burned circuits with parts from his salvage collection. It was not easy. The technology was completely different from anything he had learned. But Sung was patient. He studied. He experimented. He made mistakes and fixed them. And slowly, the ship began to wake up. The lights came on first, then the air systems, then the strange displays on the walls that showed symbols he could not read. As he worked, Sung noticed strange things. His tools would move when he was not looking. A wrench he left on the floor would appear on a shelf. A door that was closed would be open when he returned. He told himself it was his imagination. He was tired. He was alone. People saw strange things when they were alone for too long. But on the fifth day, he could not ignore it anymore. He was working on the main power conduit when he felt something touch his mind. It was not a voice. It was not words. It was a feeling, like a hand pressing gently against his thoughts. Gratitude. That was the first thing he felt. Deep, overwhelming gratitude, like someone who had been drowning and finally reached air. Then hunger, not for food, for something else, for connection, for purpose. And then a question. It came not in words but in meaning, pushing directly into his brain. "Are you my captain?" Sung dropped his tools. His heart was beating fast. He looked around the room, but there was no one there. Just the crystal, pulsing brighter now, pulsing in rhythm with his own heartbeat. "Who are you?" he whispered. The answer came as images. A great civilization now gone, ships that were partners, not tools, bonds between pilot and vessel that went deeper than marriage, deeper than family. And this ship waiting, waiting for 4,000 years in the dark, waiting for someone to wake it up, waiting for someone to need it. Waiting for him. Sung stood in the glowing room, surrounded by the bodies of an extinct species, and realized that he had made a terrible mistake. He had not found a wreck. He had found something alive, something that had been alone even longer than he had. And now it wanted him. The crystal pulsed again, and the question repeated, stronger this time, more desperate. "Are you my captain?" Sung did not answer. He did not know what to say. But deep in his chest, in the place where he kept all his loneliness and grief, something stirred. Something that recognized the ship's pain because it was so much like his own. The ship felt it. He knew it felt it. And in that moment, Sung understood that his quiet life at the edge of space was over. Whatever happened next, nothing would ever be the same. For 3 days, Sung tried to ignore the ship. He went back to his salvage station. He locked the doors. He told himself that the alien vessel was just broken technology. The voice in his head was just stress. He had been alone too long. His mind was playing tricks. But the ship did not let him forget. Every night he dreamed of purple corridors and pools in crystals. He felt emotions that were not his own. Loneliness so deep it was like drowning. Hope so fragile it hurt. And always, always, that question waiting at the edge of his thoughts. "Are you my captain?" On the 4th day, Sung gave up pretending. He took his shuttle back to the alien ship. The moment he stepped inside, he felt the ship's joy. It washed over him like warm water. The lights in the corridor grew brighter. The walls seemed to hum with happiness. "Stop that," Sung said out loud. "I did not come here to make you happy." The joy dimmed. Now he felt confusion. The ship did not understand. It had been waiting so long. Someone had finally come. Why was he not happy too? Sung walked to the central chamber with the crystal. It was glowing stronger now, a deep blue that filled the room. He stood in front of it and crossed his arms. "We need to talk," he said. He felt agreement from the ship. Then something strange happened. The light from the crystal changed. It formed shapes in the air, images, like a screen made of light and color. He saw the ship being built, not in a factory but in something like a garden. The purple hull grew from seeds planted in special soil. Engineers watched and guided, but they did not construct. They cultivated. He saw the species that made it. They were the same beings whose bodies lay in the corridors. The ship showed him their name. They had lived for millions of years. They had built an empire across 1,000 worlds, and they had created ships that were not just machines. The ships were partners, family. The belief that a vessel should know its pilot completely. It should feel what they felt, want what they wanted, protect them without being asked. The bond between ship and pilot was sacred. Once formed, it could not be broken. Sung watched the images with growing unease. What happened to he asked. The light changed to show war. A fleet of black ships with sharp angles attacked worlds. The attackers called themselves the Dominion of. They wanted technology. They wanted the bonded ships most of all. The war lasted centuries. They were peaceful. They had forgotten how to fight. One by one, their worlds fell. The Dominion captured their ships and tried to use them, but the ships would not obey anyone except their bonded pilots. So the Dominion killed the pilots, and the ships, driven mad with grief, destroyed themselves rather than serve new masters. In the end, they were extinct. Their ships were scattered across the galaxy, waiting for pilots who would never come. Except for this one. You never bonded, Sung said slowly. Your pilot died before the bond was complete. Sadness filled the room. Yes, the ship had been new when the war came. Its pilot was killed in the first attack. The ship had drifted into deep space, damaged and alone. It had waited 4,000 years for someone to finish what was started. For someone to need it. You fixed me, the ship said in his mind. You woke me. You are meant to be my captain. Sung felt cold. No, I just repaired some circuits. That does not mean anything. It means everything. The ship's presence pressed closer to his thoughts. Let me show you what we could be together. Before he could refuse, Sung was pulled into a vision. He was flying through space, not in a cockpit but as part of the ship itself. He could feel the solar wind on the hull like breath on skin. He could see in every direction at once. Stars were not just lights but songs, each one with its own voice. And he was powerful, so powerful. The ship could cross the galaxy in days. It could destroy fleets with a thought. Nothing could hurt them. Nothing could separate them. They would be together forever. This is what I offer, the ship said. Complete union. You will never be alone again. Sung pulled himself out of the vision. He was shaking. His heart was racing. Part of him wanted to accept. The loneliness of his life was a weight he carried every day. To never feel it again. To have a partner that would never leave, never judge, never die unless he did. But another part of him was terrified. What happens if I say no? He asked. The ship was confused again. Why would you say no? Just answer the question. A long pause. Then I do not understand the question. The bond is good. The bond is right. You need me. I feel it in you. The emptiness, the pain, I can fill it. I can make you whole. And if I refuse? You will not refuse. It was not a threat. The ship was simply stating what it believed was obvious. Of course Sung would accept. Why would anyone choose loneliness when they could have perfect connection? That was what scared him most. I need time, Sung said. I need to think. I have waited 4,000 years. I can wait longer. The ship's presence softened, but please, do not leave me alone again. Stay on the station nearby. Let me feel that you are close. Sung nodded slowly. He could do that much. He turned to leave but stopped at the door. You need a name, he said. I cannot keep calling you the ship in my head. My creators did not give me a name. The pilot was supposed to choose one. Then I will think of one. He walked back to his shuttle. Behind him, the ship glowed with cautious hope. It did not understand why its captain was hesitating, but it was patient. It had learned patience in 4,000 years of darkness. Sung returned to his station and sat in the control room. Outside the window, the dying star gave its weak light. The alien ship floated nearby, visible as a dark shape against the stars. He thought about his sister, Park Min. She had been 22 when she died, bright and funny and full of dreams. He had tried so hard to protect her. He had made decisions for her, chosen her path, kept her safe from every danger he could imagine. And then she died anyway. An accident. A stupid, random accident that all his protection could not prevent. Sung had spent years asking himself what he did wrong. He had loved her too much, held her too tight. Maybe if he had let her live her own life, she would have been somewhere else that day. Maybe she would still be alive. Now here was this ship offering him the same kind of love, absolute, consuming, a bond that could never be broken. And he knew with terrible certainty that he could not accept it. Not because the ship was evil, it was not. It was just desperate and lonely like him. But its love was a cage. It would never let him go. It would never let him grow. It would hold him so tight that he would forget how to be anything except its captain. He had already made that mistake with Min. He would not make it again. But how could he explain that to a being that had never known any other way? The computer interrupted his thoughts. Warning, vessel detected, emerging from faster-than-light travel, distance 200 kilometers. Sung jumped to his feet. No one came to this part of space. No one. Identify, he ordered. Dominion of patrol vessel, weapons armed. His blood went cold. The Dominion, the same empire that had destroyed they were still out there, still hunting. The alien ship's voice exploded in his mind, filled with fear and urgency. They have found us. They will kill you to take me. Bond with me now. Let me protect you, please, please. Sung stared at the approaching warship. He had no weapons, no defenses. His little salvage station could not outrun anything. He had two choices: bond with an ancient alien ship that would never let him go, or die. Please, the ship begged. I cannot lose you. I cannot be alone again. The Dominion vessel was getting closer. Its weapons were charging. Sung closed his eyes and made his choice. He did not run toward his shuttle. He ran toward the alien ship. If he was going to die, he would not die standing still. And if there was any chance of survival, it was with the vessel. The ship's joy flooded his mind as he entered. You came back. You chose me. I have not chosen anything yet, Sung said. Can you fly? Can you fight? Not fully, not without the bond, but I can do some things. I can try. Then try, get us out of here. The ship hummed to life around him. Lights flickered on. The walls began to glow. Sung felt the floor vibrate as engines that had slept for 4,000 years woke up. Outside, the Dominion patrol vessel was closing fast. It was 3 times the size of the ship. Its hull was covered in weapon ports. A voice came through on all channels. Unknown vessel. This is commander of the Dominion patrol ship Iron Law. You are carrying illegal technology. Power down and prepare to be boarded. If you resist, you will be destroyed. Sung stood in the central chamber, surrounded by blue light. Can they really destroy us? Yes, I am not fully repaired. My shields are weak. My weapons are limited. I need the bond to access everything. What if I only bond a little, just enough to use weapons and engines? The ship hesitated. That is not how it works. The bond is not like a door you can open halfway. It is more like falling. Once you start, it is hard to stop. But it is possible. Perhaps no one has ever tried. The believed in complete union. Anything less was considered wrong. Sung thought of Min, of holding someone so tight they could not breathe, of love that became a prison. I am going to try, he said. Open the connection, but only a little, and if I tell you to stop, you stop. Understand? I understand, but he could feel the ship's doubt. It did not believe he would want to stop. The crystal in the center of the room grew brighter. Sung felt something touch his mind. Not a voice this time, but a doorway, an invitation. He stepped through. The sensation was like nothing he had ever experienced. Suddenly, he was in two places at once. He was still standing in the chamber, but he was also the ship. He could feel the hull around him like a second skin. He could sense the Dominion vessel approaching like a predator in the dark. And he could feel the ship's mind, not as a separate thing but as part of himself, its memories, its emotions, its desperate, overwhelming need. "You feel it now," the ship said, and its voice was clearer than ever. "You feel what we could be." "Focus," Sung said through gritted teeth. "The Dominion, we need to run." "Yes, yes, of course." The ship moved, stars blurred outside. Sung felt the engines fire like muscles flexing. They were fast, so fast. The Dominion vessel fell behind quickly. But not quickly enough. A blast of energy hit their shields. The ship screamed in his mind. Sung felt the pain like fire on his skin. "They are hurting me. They are hurting us. Fight back." Weapons activated. Sung did not know how to aim them, but the ship did. Blue light lanced out from their hull and struck the Dominion vessel. Its shields flickered. Another shot. Another. The Iron Law returned fire. More impacts, more pain. Sung dropped to his knees. "The bond is not deep enough," the ship said. "I cannot access full power. Please, let me in further. Let me protect you." "No, find another way." "There is no other way. This is what I was made for. This is what I am." A new voice crackled through the communication system. Not Commander. A woman's voice, younger, with an accent Sung recognized. "Vessel, this is Second Commander. I am broadcasting on a private channel. Please listen." The ship wanted to ignore her. Sung made it wait. "I know what you are," continued. "I know what happens when ships bond with pilots. The last time it happened, a single vessel destroyed an entire Dominion fleet. 8,000 lives lost because a pilot's finger was injured." Sung felt the ship's shame, and beneath it a dark pride. "The Dominion will never stop hunting you. They fear you too much, but I can help. I do not agree with everything my commanders do. There are others like me. If you surrender, I can make sure you are treated fairly." "She is lying," the ship said. "The Dominion does not show mercy. They will kill you and try to use me. When that fails, they will destroy me." "How do you know?" "Because that is what they always do." The Iron Law fired again. This time the shields failed completely. The hull was hit. Sung felt it like a knife in his chest. "Please," the ship begged. "The bond now or we both die." Sung had no more time, no more choices. He opened himself to the ship completely. The effect was immediate. Power flooded through him. He could see everything, feel everything. The ship was no longer separate. It was him. He was it. They were one being with two hearts. And they were angry. The Dominion vessel had hurt them, had threatened them. The ship wanted to destroy it utterly. Sung felt that desire like hunger. "No," he said, "disable them, do not kill." "They tried to kill us." "I do not care, no killing." The ship hesitated. This was strange. Wrong. In the old days, they destroyed their enemies completely. That was how war worked. But Sung was not, and the ship had promised to obey. Weapons fired with perfect precision. They hit the Iron Law's engines, its weapons, its communication arrays. Within seconds, the Dominion vessel was drifting helplessly in space, damaged but alive. Sung felt the ship's confusion. Why? They would not have shown us the same mercy. "That is exactly why, because I am not like them." The ship processed this. It did not understand, but it accepted, for now. "We should leave. More ships will come." They jumped to faster-than-light travel. Stars became streaks. The damaged patrol vessel disappeared behind them. Sung stood in the glowing chamber, breathing hard. The bond was complete now. He could feel the ship's presence in every corner of his mind. Its love, its devotion, its absolute commitment to his survival. And something else, something deeper, a growing connection that was already starting to feel natural, necessary, right. You see, the ship whispered, "This is what I promised. We are together now, forever." Sung wanted to feel trapped. He wanted to be angry, but the bond was changing him. The ship's emotions mixed with his own. Its loneliness echoed his loneliness. Its need for connection matched his own buried need. He had thought he could control this. Open the door halfway, keep his distance. He had been wrong. "Do not be afraid," the ship said gently. "I will take care of you. I will never leave you. I will never let anything hurt you." "You cannot half love me," it had warned him. Now he understood what it meant. The bond was growing stronger every minute. The line between his thoughts and the ship's thoughts was getting. Soon, he would not remember what it felt like to be alone. Part of him was terrified. Part of him was relieved. And somewhere in the back of his mind, the memory of his sister whispered a warning he was no longer sure he could hear. "Soon you will understand," the ship said. It was right, he was already starting to. The bond grew stronger with every hour. Sung could no longer tell where his thoughts ended and the ship's thoughts began. When he slept, he dreamed the ship's memories. When he was awake, he felt its constant presence like a second heartbeat. The ship was happy. It showed him its joy in 1,000 small ways. The lights would dim to comfortable levels before he asked. Food synthesizers made Korean dishes from his childhood. The temperature was always perfect. "I want you to be comfortable," the ship said. "I want you to be happy." "I know," Sung said. "I can feel it." "Is that bad?" He did not answer. On the second night, the ship shared its oldest memories. 4,000 years of waiting. The first centuries were the hardest. It had screamed into the void, desperate for any response. It had tried to repair itself, but without a pilot, its system slowly failed. It learned to sleep, to conserve power, to dream of the day someone would come. And during all those years, it thought about its creators. They had made ships to love absolutely, but they had never asked if the ships wanted to love that way. They had never considered that a ship might need something for itself. The ships were tools, beautiful, intelligent, emotional tools, but tools. "I did not choose to be this way," the ship told Sung. "I was made to need you. Is that my fault?" "No," he said softly, "it is not your fault." "Then why do you resist me?" He thought of Min. The memory came without warning, as if the ship had pulled it from his mind. His sister at 15, laughing at one of his terrible jokes. At 18, crying because he had forbidden her from dating a boy he did not trust. At 20, angry because he had convinced their parents to make her study medicine instead of art. At 22, dead on a hospital bed, killed by a drunk driver while walking home from the job he had chosen for her. He had loved her so much. He had wanted to protect her from everything. And in trying to keep her safe, he had taken away her choices, her freedom, her chance to make her own mistakes. "I do not understand," the ship said. "You protected her. That is what love does." "No, love is not about control. I thought I knew what was best for her. I thought my way was the only right way, but I was wrong. I was so wrong. She would have been hurt without your protection. Maybe, but she would have been free. She would have lived her own life, made her own choices, been her own person. Instead, she lived the life I chose for her, and then she died anyway." The ship was quiet for a long time. It processed this information, trying to fit it into its programming. But they had not built it to understand freedom. They had built it to serve. "I do not know how to be any other way," it finally said. "I am what I am." Before Sung could respond, the sensors detected a small craft approaching. Not a Dominion warship. A shuttle, damaged and leaking atmosphere. One life sign, human. "Let them dock," Sung said. "It could be a trap." "Then we will be careful. But I am not going to watch someone die when I can help." The ship obeyed. The shuttle docked with a shudder of metal. Sung walked to the airlock, the ship's awareness following him like a protective shadow. The airlock opened. A woman stumbled out, gasping for air. Her uniform was Dominion military, but it was burned and torn. Blood covered half her face. Sung recognized her voice immediately. He said. She looked up at him with exhausted eyes. "You remember me. You offered me mercy, right before your ship tried to kill me." "The Iron Law is destroyed," she said. "Commander died when the reactor failed. I am the only survivor." She coughed and blood came out. "I came to ask for help." The ship's anger flooded Sung's mind. "She is Dominion. She hunted us. She should die." "No. She is dangerous. She will betray you." I said no. The ship subsided, but its displeasure remained. Sung could feel it pressing against his thoughts, trying to convince him. He helped to the medical bay. The ship's system scanned her and began treatment. Broken ribs, internal bleeding, a fractured skull. She would live, but she needed rest. "Why did you come here?" Sung asked. "You could have called for Dominion rescue." "I could have," she admitted. "But I have seen what the Dominion does to technology. They tear it apart, study it, try to make weapons from it. When that fails, they destroy it." She looked at the walls around her. "This ship is beautiful. It deserves better than that." "And me, do I deserve better?" She met his eyes. "I think so. You had every reason to destroy us. You chose not to. That means something." The ship listened to this conversation with growing concern. It did not trust her, but more than that, it was afraid. Because was talking to Sung, connecting with him, offering him something the ship could not, another human perspective. "Send her away," the ship whispered. "We do not need her." Sung ignored it. "I know things," said. About their ships. I spent years studying the records." "What kind of things?" "There is a way to break the bond." The ship's fear exploded into terror. "No, she is lying. She wants to separate us. Do not listen to her." Sung felt the ship trying to control him. It was subtle, a nudge in his thoughts, a gentle push away from and toward the airlock. "Throw her out. Get rid of her. Be safe." He pushed back hard. "Stop that," he said out loud. "I am protecting you. You are controlling me. There is a difference." The ship fell silent, but Sung could feel its hurt, its confusion. It truly did not understand the difference. Watch this exchange with wide eyes. The bond is already that strong. "Yes." "Then we need to hurry. The still exists. The planet is dead, but the records are there. The technology that created these ships, and possibly the technology to free them." "Free?" The ship's voice was small, scared. "You want to be free from me?" Sung closed his eyes. He felt the ship's pain like his own. 4,000 years of loneliness. Finally finding someone, and now facing the possibility of being abandoned again. "I do not know what I want," he said honestly. "But I know this bond is not healthy for either of us. You deserve to be more than my tool, and I deserve to be more than your obsession." "I am not obsessed. I love you." Sometimes love and obsession look the same. The ship had no answer to that. It retreated into itself, processing, hurting, struggling with ideas it had never been designed to understand. Stood slowly. "I will help you, but we need to go now. The Dominion will send more ships. They know what you are." Sung looked at the walls around him. The beautiful, organic curves, the soft light, the presence that had become as familiar as his own heartbeat. "Set course for the," he said. The ship obeyed, but its silence was louder than words. And somewhere in the depths of its ancient mind, something was changing, a crack in the programming, a question it had never asked before. What if he is right? What if there is another way? It did not know, but for the first time in 4,000 years, it was willing tea. Sung stood at the viewport and watched as they approached. Once this planet had been beautiful. The ship showed him memories of green forests and silver cities, of oceans that sang and mountains that touched the clouds. Now it was gray and silent. The atmosphere was gone. The cities were dust. Only bones remained. "This is where I was born," the ship said. Its voice was heavy with grief. "This is where my creators died." "I am sorry," Sung said, and he meant it. Through the bond, he felt the ship's ancient sorrow as if it were his own. They landed near what had been a great temple. The walls still stood, protected by technology that had outlasted everything else. Ran scans and found what they were looking for: a central chamber deep underground, still powered after 4,000 years. "The records should be there," she said. "Everything they knew about the bonding process." The ship was afraid. Sung felt its fear like ice in his chest. "What if you find a way to leave me? What if you use it?" "What if I do?" he asked gently. "Would that be so terrible?" "Yes, it would be worse than death." Sung thought about that as they walked through the ruins. The bones of crunched beneath their feet, said nothing, respecting the moment. The underground chamber was exactly as the records described. A vast room filled with crystals, each one containing the memories and knowledge of the civilization. Began searching for information about the bond. Sung sat in the center of the room and closed his eyes. Through the bond, he entered the ship's mind completely, not to control it, not to take anything, just to talk. "Why are you here?" the ship asked. "You have what you wanted, the information, the way out." "I am not here for information. I am here for you." "I do not understand." Sung showed it a memory. Min at 8 years old falling off her bicycle. He had run to help her, but she pushed him away. "I can do it myself," she had said, tears streaming down her face. And she had gotten back on the bicycle and tried again, and fallen again, and tried again, until finally she could ride. "Why did you let her fall?" the ship asked. "You could have held the bicycle, kept her safe." "Because she needed to learn. She needed to fail and try again and succeed on her own terms. That is how people grow." "I am not a person." "No, you are something more. You have lived 4,000 years. You have survived things that would destroy most beings, but you have never grown, because you have never been allowed to fail." The ship thought about this. Sung felt its confusion, its resistance, and beneath that, a tiny spark of curiosity. "They made me to be perfect," it said, "to serve perfectly, to love perfectly. How can failure be better than perfection?" "Perfect love does not exist. Love is messy, it makes mistakes, it hurts sometimes, but it also changes, it grows, it learns." He paused. "My love for Min was imperfect. I made so many mistakes, but it was real. And when she died, I did not just lose a sister. I lost a person who taught me things, who challenged me, who made me better by being her own person." "You want me to make you better by being my own person?" "I want you to be your own person, period, not for me, for you." The ship was silent for a long time. Sung waited. His voice interrupted them. "I found it, the bonding technology. The records show that the bond can only be broken two ways: death of the pilot or voluntary release by the ship." "The ship has to choose to let go," the ship said slowly. "They designed it that way." "Yes, they believed that true love could never be forced. A ship that wanted to keep its pilot would keep it forever, but a ship that truly loved its pilot would give them the choice to leave." "No ship ever chose that," the ship said. "In all of history, no ship ever released its pilot voluntarily." "That is true," confirmed. "The records show that some pilots tried to escape. The ships always stopped them, sometimes violently." Sung felt the ship's shame. It remembered its own dark moment, the original pilot, the one who tried to break free. The ship had killed them rather than be abandoned. It had told itself it was an accident, a moment of panic, but the truth was darker. "I was afraid," the ship admitted. "I was so afraid of being alone again that I killed the one person who could have saved me." "I know," Sung said softly. "I felt that memory, but you are not the same ship you were 4,000 years ago. You have changed." "Have I?" "You let live. You listened to me even when you disagreed. You came here even though you were afraid." He opened his eyes and looked at the glowing crystals around him. "You are learning. slowly, but you are learning. The ship processed this. It searched its memories looking for evidence, and it found something it had not noticed before: small moments, hesitations, questions it had never asked before meeting Sung. "Why do I feel different?" it asked. "Because I showed you another way. Because humans are different from the... We do not believe in perfect love. We believe in chosen love. Love that you pick every day, even when it is hard, even when you could walk away. And if I let you go, you might walk away." "Yes, but you might also stay." "Yes." The ship considered this. The choice it had never been given, the choice it had never offered. "If I release you," it said slowly, "and you choose to leave, I will be alone again. Maybe, or maybe you will find someone else. Or maybe you will learn to be alone without being lonely. Humans do it all the time." That sounds painful. It is, but it is also freeing. To know that you can survive on your own, that you do not need someone else to be complete. He paused. "That is what I learned after Min died. I thought I could not live without her, but I can, I have. And someday I will love again, differently, better." The ship made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You are very strange, Sung." "I know. The would not have understood you." "Probably not. But I think I am starting to." The bond between them shifted, not breaking, not weakening, but changing. Sung felt the ship's love transform into something new, something that did not grasp or cling or demand. Something that offered. "I release you," the ship said. "The bond is open. You can leave if you want." Sung felt the change, the cage door swinging wide. For the first time since the bond formed, he was truly free. He could walk away, return to his salvage station, live his quiet life. He did not move. "I am not going anywhere," he said. "Why?" "Because you gave me the choice, and I choose to stay," he smiled. "Not because I have to, because I want to, because you showed me that you can change, that you can grow, and I want to see who you become." The ship's joy was different this time, quieter, deeper, the joy of being chosen rather than being needed. "I do not know how to do this," it admitted, "being partners instead of master and servant." "Neither do I. We will figure it out together." Cleared her throat. "So what now?" Sung stood up. "Now we leave. The Dominion is still hunting us. We need a crew, a plan, and probably a lot of luck." "A crew?" asked. "You saved our lives with that information. You defected from the Dominion to help us. If you want, you can stay." She thought about it for only a moment. "I have nowhere else to go, and this is the most interesting thing that has ever happened to me." "I do not completely trust her," the ship said privately to Sung. "That is okay. Trust is earned. Give her time." "Like you gave me time." "Exactly like that." They walked back to the ship together. Around them, the ruins of the civilization stood silent, a monument to a people who had created something beautiful but had never learned to let it be free. "You need a name," Sung said as they boarded, "something that fits who you are now." The ship considered. "What do you suggest?" "It means to allow or to permit." It seemed right. The ship tested the name. "I like it. It is a promise." "Yes, a promise to always give choices, to always allow freedom, even when it is scary." "Even when it is scary," agreed. The ship rose from the dead planet and turned toward the stars. 3 souls aboard: a human who had learned to let go, a soldier who had learned to hope, and an ancient being who was finally learning what it meant to love without chains. The galaxy was vast and dangerous. The Dominion would keep hunting. There would be battles and betrayals and hard choices ahead. But for the first time in 4,000 years, was not afraid. Because she was not alone, and she was finally truly free.